this weekend's market breakdown. We're gonna start out with AUD CAD. Uh, Pretty much, it's gonna be a quick one. Pretty much, not much movement going on in this case. Um, for instance, so starting off with AUD CAD, I did kind of like AUD CAD, but it didn't necessarily go over and hit the targets that I was expecting. Um, right now, it's currently in like a no man's zone. I don't see any commitment in any direction, uh, top or bottom. Um, and even this case of double bottom, I wouldn't even consider it as a double bottom. But for this weekend's video, we'll mainly go over pound CAD, which is what we entered in, successfully executed. AUD JPY, I did sort of like this pair as it was, you know, it did have our ascending channel section and everything. It does hit the criteria of double top. If we're looking at it, let's see, about, rather just do, so let's see, it's about 38,700. So it is about 30% from 30 38, a little bit less than 30%. So if I were to enter this, I still wouldn't be interested in taking what I usually would take because we never hit that, right? So in this case, something that I would be interested in, which I didn't look at, I should have looked at, would be this right here. Because I wasn't looking at the market this weekend. So if I were to enter this, this is definitely a spot. But even in this case, probably not, because we usually do 35 pips on these. Um, Something that is a little bit more interesting to me, if I were to enter enter this, would be I would more so of look at a flag taking it to the upside. Just because uh, it looks like a flag that is creating, that's that's looking to uh, break out. And the reason that I think it's a breakout is because it's been tested multiple times. Look, I could be wrong, but the psychology of retail traders is what? Psychology of retail traders is a lot of time is support and resistant. And when you're basing everything on support and resistant, you get caught into schemes of the mass psychology, right? The reason why I was expecting this to go to the upside was because there's multiple test entry of rejection, right? So the first rejection we spot here will be this one right here, right? So for instance, if a retail trader were to look at this scenario, they would say, well, price value is valued at 98.630, right? Because when it hit that target, the price value, it rejected about, what can we say? About 1,252 pips, right? So that means this is an area of value. So in this case, when it hit this target right here, we're expecting it to what? Go down again. What the fuck is this? Weird. All right. Anyways, so when it hit that target, what did it do? It did go down, right? It did go down to 474 pips. So if you were to catch that, you still did a very good job, right? But what happened was it came back up again, right? So as a retail trader, if you had you spot this again, right, everybody would lose their mind and try to get in on that. And when everybody try to get in on that and try to go for a sell, what do you think the bank is going to do? 80% of the market is going for a sell, the retail traders. So what would they do? They would do a breakout. They would easily do a breakout. So in this case, one, two, third time, no, I'm not gonna sell. There's no way I'm gonna sell that. I'm going to see a bullish bullish flag and go for a buy. So in this case, I'm glad I didn't get in it. As I saw this, and if I, because earlier I didn't go on a high time frame to spot the first top, the second top, and then third top here. So always go on a high time frame, then you break it down to a smaller piece, right? So this one, even for the upcoming week, I still don't see anything. AUD NCD, we are spotting, a trend here, but it's still not enough for me to say, well, can it break out in this no man's zone? Can it break out? Can it show commitment? I'm not comfortable with that yet. I'll leave it alone until it proves me otherwise. AUD USD, same thing here. I don't see any commitments here. If I don't see commitment to a certain direction, there's no reason for me to get in, right? CAD Swiss. Now, CAD Swiss, here's the interesting here. Normal circumstances, let's go on high time frame, daily high time frame. Let's go to weekly. In this case of weekly, we can see that it's committed. It has a commitment to the downside, right? Commitment to the downside. There's likewise, you can see another area of view here, which is a double bottom situation. And in this case of a double bottom situation, we're spotting the case of whether it's creating a bull flag uh, or a ascending or in this case a descending channel, right? It created neither. We didn't spot neither of these for its structure. So, but regardless, it didn't create neither of the two structures that we're looking for. It broke out a area of value, right? So if it break out area of value, this is our usual go-to setup, right? A 1, 2, 3 flag, easy sell, right? In this case, you're right, but there are 5 things that we look at in a trade that needs to meet our criteria for our high probability of success. And one of those, the most crucial one, will be detail of structure, right? Detail of structure, in this case, what are we spotting? We're spotting a first touch on rejection, second touch, third touch, as a matter of fact, a fourth touch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, 5. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 touches that we should not have in our criteria of a sell, right? And on top of it, the last leg. The first leg is good. The second leg was a little curvy. We don't like that. We'd rather have a solid structure that we can see it diagonal. We don't like seeing a curved structure. We like to see a straightforward structure. In this case, it's a curved structure. And on the second thing is the middle section. The middle section here is not a impulse to the downside. It's corrective. It's super corrective, and it's just screaming that it's gonna go for an upside, right? Another one I didn't like was, again, the curve structure. Whenever you see the last leg is a curved leg, it's a red flag for you not to get in. This is why when when price value was right here, I say I could bet you that this is going to the upside. And what it did was exactly what we're expecting. It went to the upside, super curvy. This is more of a correction than an impulse. It's just screaming bull flag, and that's what it did. So we definitely didn't like that. What we did was we used our evaluation on CAD Swiss and CAD JPY, right, to evaluate GBP CAD. GBP CAD is the one that we'll be focused on. We'll come back later to it. Um, in this case of Euro AUD, it's the same thing. I'd rather just wait until it goes to area of value before we do anything. Um, right now, I don't see any trades for it. Commitment to the upside. Let's see, right? Let's see whether it's going to be a bull flag or an ascending channel, right? If it's a bull flag, we can be sure to purchase. If it's an ascending channel, we can be sure to sell. EuroCAD, again, no commitment, nothing. Um, don't really see until again what until we see a commitment to one side, then we'll be interested. So, for instance, if we go back to it, because I've said this multiple times, and you guys might not be knowing what I'm talking about. In this case of scenario, this leg right here, it's a perfect example of showing commitment, right? If we see a, you know, a pair doing this sort of price action, we can see a commitment to a certain side, right? One, two, three, four, five. If you were to guess to sell out of this many times, maybe two out of the five times, you have been profitable, meaning the probability of you selling, the probability of going down happening is higher than it goes up. Now, eventually, right? Eventually, it went to the upside. But had you were to guess two out of the five times, you would be on a winning streak, right? So that's how we trade here. We trade on a higher probability, meaning if we see a trend going on to the downside, there's a higher probability that it's going to go to the downside. And in this case, we're not seeing anything happening here, so we're just trying to leave that alone, let the market develop, and then we go in once we see a pattern or a commitment going on. In this case, Euro, Swiss, not really see anything. We don't really see a structure. I do see a corrective leg here, but it's not for something for us to there's no signs of us to go in. It could what could have happened is a continuation to the downside. It could easily just continue to drop, right? So we don't want to face that betting to say, well, I think it's going to go to the upside because I see a commitment here, a correction here. So there's no real reason for us to get on it. This one, um, Euro JPY is super interesting because in this case, when we see something here, um, 45, 43 pips. We usually work with 35 pips. So uh, even though we see a double top, number one, we've never hit 690 pips. So I don't want to risk that. And number two, um, right here, if we go a little bit more, let's see, it's still 40 something pips that I'm not really willing to risk. Um, this we never have data on this. It's why I'm not really interested in getting into. So this is more for data purposes than for me to say uh, to get in and risk my capital on, right? It's more for more information. Let's see what happens when this structure happens, how many pips we need, how much space we needed to let it breathe before it committed to our side. Euro NZD, Euro NZD, let's see on a higher time frame. We usually look at 4 hours, but in this case, I do see it a little bit committed to the upside. Um, Not that much, but mm, I would still wait for more commitment. In this case, it's more it's more so of double top. Right, let's see if it is. So right here we got 10,000, 28. It's like 35-ish. So 10,000, 28. So it's almost like 28%, 27%. Mm, Not really that interested. I'm sure it will go up to try to create this double top scenario, but I don't see, number one, a valid commitment, and number two, a detail and structure. Uh, this one same as well. Again, there's not much going on. And how do we go back here? And let's say I was in this scenario, right? I've seen enough sales, and I were to bet that it's gonna go to the downside. I would have been, it would have been a winner, right? If I were to guess here as well, because I've seen how many times it happened in the past, and I were to sell, it still would have been another winner, right? But again, we need to validate our criteria for selling. So that's another thing that we need to look at instead of just get in there and just try to sell. In this case, um, again, what it says here, I'm more interested in the double top setup in this pair right now, because even though there may be set up for a corrective structure, um, there isn't enough on the trend of direction. So again, there's no commitment here until we see something up here. I want to see, again, I want to see two things, which is bull flag or ascending channel. The most excited one that happened this week prior to last week. So what happened was we first established that this was a double top area, right? How do we establish that? Well, we established that by looking at the overall to the downside, which is I think it was 3,000. No, it was 329 pips or 3,029 pips, and it only went down to 9,000, so it's 30%. So it is in our area of interest. When it hits 35 to 40%, we're not really interested in that. In this case, we are interested. Second thing is we don't see another area that hit area value and rejected, right? So in this case, number one, we can fake people out, and number two, not many people is looking at this. Not many retailers looking at this. So this will be a first area value that it hits, right? So we establish first top right here, area value, and then we establish second top. For the second top, what do we see? We see ascending channel. But even though, right, that this is not the best uh, double top area, even though it's not the best, we've also looked at previous data that shown us that it will reject. So I do agree on the part that this is not the best double top, but again, data is king, and that's why we have it. And what we did was we got it right on the sell, right? We did 30 pips, and we banked 220 pips on that. I think I banked 217 pips, but these are the established things that are the neat things that we look for to catch 217 pips. This one it like fluctuates a little bit. If I get in a little bit more, it'll be 217. But right now it's 220. If I get into the details of it and adjust a little bit, it will be around that, right? But you get the point. You get to catch 200 pips on this, right? And depending on how much you risk compared to what you get in reward. In this case, I think 7%, 7.34%. What bank can help you get this much in a matter of a week? And if we were to look at this, we caught this in a matter of 13 days, minus the 4 days, that being the weekend. So we caught this in 9 days, banking 7%, 7.34%. That's one trade. You're all set for the month. That's pretty good for the month, right? So these are the trades that we try to catch to um to bank on to make the money that we that keeps us full for a whole month, right? So there's no need for a um an urgency to get in trades constantly. There could be droughts for 2 weeks. There could be droughts for 3 weeks. Just chill, right? Just chill. The next setup that I have here would be GBP Swiss. GBP Swiss, if we were to look at this, it's an easy establish that it is going to the upside as there is a constant correction, continuation, correction, continuation, right? Correct, continuation. And right here, if we are to see something that we're interested in, our setup, our go-to setup for a purchase, for a buy, I'll be interested in it. In this one, what are we banking at? We're looking to bank 5%, right? So just be patient. These setups will come. These setups will come. We don't need to be greedy. We don't need to be pigs. Just hungry to get in. I'm preaching about this, but I'm a victim of that as well myself. There are times where I was 3 weeks for a month and a half just drought, right? If you are a trader and a month and a half just drought for you, you will lose your mind because you feel like you're not making any progress. So I'm a victim of that as well. But I've come to understand that you have to you have to just be patient, right? Be patient. A lot of times you don't have to get in trades and you make money, right? GBP I don't really like this just off the bat by looking at 596 pips that I'm banking off of. That's not something that I've done in the past on this pair. But if we were to look at commitment side, uh, commitment of trend, we can see that it does establish what to the upside, right? correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. So we do see that trend. But let's just be patient, wait for setups. In this case right here, we do see something. I didn't get in, and it's banking 1,437 pips. I'm not really interested in that because I've never done that. I've never had data on that. I'd rather collect data on what's going on right now. Um, Although it is tempting, but chill, just chill, right? GBP USD, nothing really happened. I've just seen, a couple scenarios. GBP USD JPY, so dollar yen. What do we see here? This is almost the same scenario as what we talked about earlier with AUD CAD. Wait, was it AUD CAD? No, AUD JPY. It's most likely going to the upside, right? It's trying to break out this rejection. Not trying to break out, but again, if we go back to retail traders, we can see that they value this, right? They're talking to themselves, saying that, well, the market values this area of value. They sound super smart. The market values 151.969. No, they don't care about that. Nobody cares about that, right? Nobody cares about that because they want to fake you out, telling you, hey, sell in this area. The market values this area. Sell it, sell it, sell it. And when you do, right, they come up with a nice flag, flush everybody out. So don't get faked out on that. I have no interest in getting that, whether it be going down or up. I don't have a go-to thing to know where it's going for me to be comfortable to get in. So nothing on that. USD, Swiss. I'm just gonna chill out, see what happens, see how market develops. The only one that I am interested in right now is GBP Swiss, which it does look pretty interesting to me. Now, whether or not it will break out more, I don't know. But this leg looks pretty committed, right? I will put a yellow on that as a note of development. Uh, GBP NZD, I didn't get in on this, but I should put a yellow on that to just track it. That is it for this video. If you found it interesting, please like and subscribe. Comment what you if you have any questions, or if you will want me to make any videos that you guys would like me to make for for my 2 cents in the market. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. See you next video. See you in the next video. Yeah.